Now it's time for our next group, the national ministries from Germany, Italy and Moldova. On the national level, the ministries will of course play a key role in creating policy initiatives needed for achieving the agenda aims.
And we would like to welcome Bettina, Bundszus, Head of Department for Children and Youth in the Federal Ministry of Family Affairs, Senior Citizens, Women and Youth from Germany.
Mrs. Bundszus, with the Council resolution and the Third European Youth Work Convention, your ministry has given a boost for youth work. What is your wish for the continuation of the Bonn process?
Hello everyone and good afternoon from the Federal Ministry for Youth. What are we hoping for? Well, for the boost to continue, of course. And I would also like to say thank you very much to the previous speakers, in particular Matthias's words, Matthias who explained it just like we see it. And that is using this bridge of the overlap of the presidency of the EU Council and the Council of Ministers of the Council of Europe. Our goal is to utilize this bridge in order to prioritize youth work at a European level, to put it on the agenda. With the adoption of the resolution of the EU Council and the fact that the European Youth Work Convention was hosted in Germany, we have been able to send a very clear signal. It was a wonderful starting point. And I'll come back to Matthias once again. Today is the International Day of Human Rights, of course, so that is a perfect date to end the Youth Work Convention. In Matthias's office, I don't know whether you've seen it or not, but there was a little figurine of Donald Trump. And at today's International Day of Human Rights, it is a wonderful date to say goodbye. And let's focus on human rights. And now our vision is clear to focus once again on youth work and youth work only. Not only today, but over the next years, we aim for youth work to be put on top of the European agenda. And this is why we don't only have wonderful resolutions, documents and ideas, but we're also aiming to make this visible, to make youth work visible. And this is why we've developed not only a title for it, but also a logo. European Youth Work Agenda, the Bonn Process. And with the help of this logo, we want to convey connection, and we want, over the next few years, we would like to turn it into a sign, a visible outward sign that makes you recognize the Bonn process and the youth work agenda. Over the past months, when we prepared this convention, we noticed a growing interest in Germany, too, within the youth work community of practice. In this context, we will also spread the word about the results of the Council resolution, but also the results of this convention. And in very specific terms, there will be the Child and Youth Welfare Congress in May 2021. In Germany, this is a congress that takes place every 3 years, and it's the biggest event in youth work. Many people, thousands of people participate in this event, which is part exposition, part conference. And usually we include an independent forum under the headline of Youth Work in Europe. And we will certainly talk about the youth work agenda there in May next year. As one of the actors initiating the agenda and this convention, we, of course, will closely accompany the Bonn process at the European level and take on responsibility for its implementation. In 2021, we will, in particular, make the first steps to establish a network for youth work development in Europe, in line with the EU Council resolution. So this network, I firmly believe, is one of the pillars, one of the cornerstones which guarantees a sustainable, successful implementation of the Bonn process all across Europe, and we're looking forward to working with all of you.
Silvestrini from the Department for Youth Policies and the Universal Civic Service of the Ministry for Youth and Sports in Italy. And we would like to forward the question, which national policy measures do you envisage to create better conditions for youth work in Italy? Go ahead, as soon as you speak, you will get into the picture.
Thank you for the question, but let me first of all extend you the greetings of my head of department, Flavio Siniscalchi, who granted me the honor of representing Italy in this final roundtable. It is indeed an honor for Italy to speak in this final session that concludes 4 very inspiring days. We want to thank the German presidency for at least 3 reasons. First of all, for having obtained a political basis for the European Youth Work Agenda that also consolidates the alliance between the European Union and the Council of Europe. Second, for the organization of this convention in such difficult conditions. Third, but not least, for having allowed Italy to participate with a king-size delegation. We were 21, in addition to the Italian facilitators who joined us during our meetings. And they informed us that we achieved a very high rate of participation, so I'm very proud of that. This is due to the fact that youth work recognition is at the center of our political agenda. Indeed, our Minister for Youth and Sports is determined to promote a Youth Act that will be the first in Italy, that includes youth work recognition. The very first important achievement has been the creation of our community of practice. The community includes youth workers across Italy and across different sectors, trainers, local and regional policymakers, not to mention our National Youth Council and our major ally, the National Youth Agency, that inspired us in the selection of the delegation. Thanks to Youth Wiki, we already had an alliance with 15 researchers, and this convention allowed us to create, for the first time, the famous triangle among practice, research, and policymakers. During our meeting this morning, our National Agency for Youth declared its intention to set up an action plan to support the Bonn process. And the whole community agreed to meet again in January to continue the work we just started, keeping in mind the following key points: stable sustainability of youth work, horizontal and vertical cross-sectoral cooperation and collaboration, quality skills and competences of youth workers, recognition and promotion of non-formal learning as an essential part of education, youth work as a resource to promote human rights and European values among young people. We are all looking forward to meeting you in person this time in 5 years and to present you the progress that hopefully we will have achieved for the implementation of the Youth Work Agenda. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Silvestrini.
Now a warm welcome to Marcel Marin, Head of Youth Department, Ministry of Education, Culture and Research from the Government of the Republic of Moldova. What are the plans of the National Delegation of Moldova for developing youth work further, and how is your ministry planning to support these plans?
Hello everybody. Can you hear me well?
Yes, we hear you. Hi.
Yeah. Nice. Well, I think my camera is a little bit bad, but that's it. First of all, I have to ask, where can I get one of those European Youth Work Convention signs? That's really cool.
We will ask. You will get one.
Yeah,
or you can have a frame for your Facebook page. We will explain that later.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. That would be.
We already said you would need to make this sign foldable. You know, you could push it together and fold it out, because that would make it easier to ship it to other people. But that's something for the future, maybe.
Yeah, that's a future plan. That sounds like a future plan. Okay, so first of all, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to be present here, together with representatives from the European institutions, national governments, civil society organizations, practitioners, and other actors who have the experience and expertise needed to make the Bonn process work at all levels. It is this continuous multilateral dialogue that underlines the establishment of a broad cooperation between all actors involved in the development of youth work at local, national and international level. Like the parts of a well-run engine, each of us has the responsibility to develop and implement, based on our own environment, the tools needed to ensure that the goals set by the European Youth Work Agenda are met. We need to be aware that the Bonn process is the result of our involvement in developing the mechanism for implementing the agenda. If priorities and objectives are set at European level, it is within our duty to nationalize these objectives and to develop national implementation tools and policies. Probably the first question that springs to mind is how we can contribute to the implementation process. Well, as a representative of the Central Public Authority, I must admit that one main challenge we must address is raising awareness and recognize the importance of youth work. To paraphrase a colleague of mine, which I'm sure is listening to me right now, is many people know, but few people understand. The financial component is also a challenge, but we have to face it. I think everybody is in the same situation. However, I'm sure that where there is a will, there is a way. And the will, from my perspective, is the precondition for ensuring a quality implementation of the agenda. Taking over and nationalizing the 8 goals of the agenda within the strategic documents of the national public authorities must be a priority for each of those present here. Firm commitment at national level will lead to implementation of ideas and will contribute sorry for that, and will contribute to the development of youth work. In this regard, the discussions we had in the national delegations, as well as in the workshops, laid the basis for a process of cooperation between all actors. I am confident that our work in this regard is just the beginning, and the results will be seen in time. Taking into consideration the current pandemic situation, we are obliged to build strong institutions and viable mechanisms that will respond quickly to the ever-changing needs of the youth sector. The need to digitalize youth work has created a new challenge for us and brought a number of issues to everyone's agenda, but which perhaps not everybody was prepared to answer. This being said, I am convinced that the commitment of the Republic of Moldova to a strong Bonn process is shared by all those present here, as we are all aware of its importance. In the end, I would just like to take this opportunity to thank the organizers who did an amazing job in these difficult conditions and making this event happen. And I am pretty sure it won't take 5 more years for us to meet again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marcel, Marin.